This is big, as following Celtics practice today, Joe Mazzulla called out the NBA fans that are bored by that three-point shooting. He also dove into some funny quotes as well that we're going to get into. Plus, we have a mini update on Kristaps Porzingis as he was shown in the Celtics facility today. So we're going to get into all of those updates and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. You guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support. We're really appreciative. But without further ado, let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. Like I said in the introduction, first we're going to go over this mini injury update as we saw from the Celtics today. Some good news heard from Kristaps Porzingis. Now, if you guys are fans of the Celtics, you guys do know that Kristaps left their game versus the Washington Wizards early due to some heel problems. And the Celtics were extra precautious with that, taking Porzingis out right when he felt uncomfortable. Porzingis, following that game, said that he felt this pain before and that it shouldn't limit him going into the next game on Thursday. This was key for the Celtics as they had 3 days of rest in between these games due to not making the NBA Cup final to really get Kristaps Porzingis back into the swing of things, which I think is a blessing in disguise for Celtics fans. But ultimately, Porzingis was shown yesterday in the weight room and stuff like that. If we want to look at this tweet here from Chris Forsberg. Kristaps was in the weight room, obviously, during Celtics Monday off-day session. Joe Mazzulla said he'll do some shooting today, still day-to-day with the heel soreness. If we want to look at this picture of John Corrales, you guys can see that Kristaps Porzingis is shown in that bottom right, shooting some three-pointers today at practice. I tried to get the video to pull up. Unfortunately, the video clip did not work, so I'll try to get that fixed for the next video. But like I said, Kristaps Porzingis was seen today shooting around in practice. He still is listed as questionable for the Celtics in game and day to day for the Celtics going into tomorrow's matchup. But just seeing some progression already, hearing from Porzingis on the first night that he got injured, that he's dealt with something like this before, it shouldn't limit him in the next game to then seeing him do some weight training yesterday and now getting into the shooting in today, I truly think that the Celtics will have Kristaps Porzingis available in their next matchup versus the Chicago Bulls, which is going to be key because, like I said in yesterday's live stream, if you missed that, going against this Chicago Bulls team on Thursday and Saturday is going to be a tough matchup for the Celtics inside. If they have Al Horford, they have Kristaps Porzingis, they'll be able to limit Nikola Vucevic, but at least having one of those guys available is going to be key for the Celtics' success in those matchups. But like I said, little mini update on Kristaps Porzingis. Let me know what you guys ultimately think. Do you guys think he'll be back by Thursday? If not, by Saturday, drop down your comments in the comment section. But like I said, let's get into the other news at hand. As this is very interesting. As Joe Mazzulla went out today and called out some NBA fans that are bored with the NBA three-point shooting. And if you guys are unfamiliar what I'm talking about, there's a general talk around the NBA landscape here that this game that we're watching right now is boring. Teams are just chucking three-pointers. There's no hard-fought defense, all that stuff, and that is just some talk online. But ultimately, if you do watch the games, if you watch teams that do play effective defense, teams like the Rockets, teams like the Grizzlies, teams like the Celtics, teams like the Thunder, you can watch teams that play good defense and still get those good basketball games. Fans were complaining wanting good defense. You got that matchup with the Rockets and Thunder in their Western Conference semifinal, or not Western Conference Finals, NBA Cups Western Conference Finals matchup, excuse me, which ultimately the Thunder made it. And fans were still complaining, oh, it's low scoring, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. What more do you want? Well, anyways, that's how I kind of feel about it. But Joe Mazzulla had some words to say about this as well. We're going to dive in and get into all of it. Joe Mazzulla, when he was asked about this, obviously had a lot to say about the NBA being boring. And he was compared it to the NFL, saying in the NFL, everybody wants them to score. You don't see other people complaining that teams don't score in the NFL. You don't see them shrinking down the end zone in the NFL. So why are fans critiquing how the NBA is played, and why are the fans mad that the scores are going higher up and that it is more exciting offense? Well, Joe, I am 100% in agreement with you on that, and I think that's absolutely crazy that fans are absolutely critiquing the NBA game just like this. I know that he asked if it was Celtics fans as well in the video. They furthered up saying it wasn't Celtics fans, which I think made it a little bit easier for him to give a response. But like he said, it's just haters hitting out from the outside, just mad that their team's not playing that great, or just not watching legitimately games, and they're just box score watchers on social media, just tweeting and talking about these games, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I stand with Joe that obviously the game has digressed, or not digressed, but has, gone a different direction since the early 2000s, where it was, more defensive prioritized. It's obviously, with the development of the three-pointer, has been better for, higher scoring teams and for new records to be broken. And I think it's more exciting. Obviously, there are, some critiques on the defensive side, but like I said, if you watch some good defensive teams, you can see some real basketball on both sides of the court, and you can get that true basketball experience at a better viewing, in my opinion, with the development of the spacing and the three-point shot. But Joe Mazzulla, not only just talking about that, had also some funny quotes to talk about as well when talking about the Celtics as well. So if we want to dive into those, we can get into those. Where Jay King here, we can see that Joe Mazzulla says at today's press conference that he likes in cricket that you can just keep wearing out the pitcher down by fouling off on purpose. There's like a huge mental, psychological component to just wearing the guy's arm off, to just keep fouling the balls again until he can't pitch anymore. I love the idea about that. And I think this is hilarious that Joe is talking about other sports, but he was obviously these last couple of days watching other sports and kind of comparing them to the NBA, and that's what Joe likes to do. And honestly, I don't blame him. I might have to start doing that, but kind of trying to find intricate rules in other sports that could be applied, could be added, possibly other things that could be implemented to spice the game up a little bit. Not necessarily, I don't know how they could implement this type of rule into the NBA per se, but I do think it's funny that Joe is obviously kind of mentioning this, having some fun at the press conference as well, obviously being serious, but joking around always with the reporters. And obviously from Bobby Manning, you can see here that Joe just said, "We're really bored. We've got a lot of days off." So basically, just kind of talking, rambling, having some fun with the reporters, and I love to see that from Joe. And lastly, we want to look at this quote from Noah Dalzell. Obviously, there's been talk about as well with the NBA product not being the best. Obviously, numbers have been going down, and she obviously asked Joe Mazzulla, has he been keeping up with the NBA recently this season? And he says he adds to that. He doesn't realize that he doesn't really watch many of the games this year, and that is kind of shocking. If we want to look at this tweet from Noah from last season, right near the playoffs in May, Joe Mazzulla said that the Celtics regularly watched other NBA games together. Studying with a team wins. Studying with a team loses. When a team calls a timeout, when a team doesn't call a timeout, when a team goes on a run, when a team stops a run. What are the keys towards winning a game? That's what Joe was trying to figure out from watching these NBA teams. And obviously, like Noah has said, things have changed this season. But like I said, Joe obviously probably dealing with wanting to be competing, still getting this squad better and better. Hasn't had much time to kind of focus on that. Last season was obviously about going for the quest for the championship. So watching those other teams, getting that other intel was a little bit better, a little bit more obviously keeping him prepared to kind of stack him up against the odds and figuring out who he was going to match up with and how he was going to solve those issues. But now, obviously, with his defense title coming in, and he's not going to call it a defense title, but for this team kind of going out to go win another championship, he hasn't really taken that approach. He's taken it a little bit as a step back. He knows his team is solid, and he's just trying to figure out around the edges where he can improve this team to kind of make them go over the top. Now, I'm really liking what Joe Mazzulla has been doing. He's been one of the top tier coaches. If you've been a fan of Celtics Digest for a while now, you have known that I've been on Coach Joe Mazzulla's side since the very beginning on this channel. We've not talked bad about Joe Mazzulla. The fans have talked bad about Joe Mazzulla in the comments back in the day, but we love Joe Mazzulla here, and I think he's been doing a fantastic job instilling what it is to be a Celtic into these players. We've seen the growth and development of stars like Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, but not only just that, his communications with Kristaps Porzingis and making sure he's always healthy. His nice one-on-one relationships with Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, Derrick White, Jrue Holiday. Those integral pieces as well make sure that this team can stick together. And I truly believe that Joe, when he sees this squad together, like he said in this last tweet here, we want to look at it from Noah Dalzell, studying with the team, winning as a team. He's doing everything. As a team. So for the Celtics team to be able to come together, win, and do everything as a whole is what Joe Mazzulla wants to see as the product, and we've been seeing that since he's been the head coach of this Boston Celtics squad. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the Kristaps Porzingis injury? What do you think about Joe Mazzulla calling out some of these fans that are bored? I'm on Joe Mazzulla's side. I say watch some defensive teams. Stop watching box scores. Stop watching Twitter highlights, and go and actually watch a 2.5-hour game. It may not be Wizards versus Nets being that good defensive matchup, but if you catch a good game between a team like the Houston Rockets versus a good offensive team, I'm telling you, it's going to be a great show. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, what you ultimately think about the Boston Celtics. Like I said, they have a game Thursday coming up. It's been a little bit of a break. We've been itching for some Celtics basketball. I know you have been, but like I have been as well. Like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in and your support. If you do enjoy the content, hit the like and the subscribe button as we're trying to get to our goal of 6,000 subscribers by the start of the new season. We're less than 100 away from that. I know you guys can help us get to that goal. Really, really appreciative if you guys do that. But once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in this episode. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your day and peace out. Go Boston Celtics.